The planet was silent. No wind, no birds, no signals. Only ash and broken metal covered the ground. A human rescue team moved slowly across the crash zone, their boots pressed into black dust left by an old battle. Above them stood the remains of a massive starship. Its hull was split open like a dead giant. Captain Reyes raised his hand. The team stopped at once. Their scanners showed nothing alive, but something felt wrong. Lieutenant Mara stepped closer to the wreckage. Her light moved under the broken ship. That was when she saw movement. Something small shifted in the dark. A soft blue glow flickered, then disappeared. The soldiers raised their weapons, but Captain Reyes did not order them to fire. He knelt slowly, his voice calm and low. "Hello," he said. "We are not here to hurt you." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a tiny figure stepped forward. It was an alien child, small, thin, and shaking. Its skin was pale blue. Its eyes were large and bright. Its clothes were torn and dirty. The child held a broken power crystal in its hands. The light from it barely worked, but the child clutched it like treasure. The soldiers froze. They had seen many things in the galaxy, but never this. The child did not run, did not scream. It only looked at them, as if waiting for something bad to happen. Mara slowly removed her helmet. She lowered herself to the child's level. She smiled gently. "It's okay," she said. "You're safe now." The child tilted its head. It did not understand the words, but it understood the tone. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed. Metal shifted. Above them, the broken starship groaned. The child flinched and covered its head. Fear filled its eyes. It pressed itself against the ground. Mara reached out. She stopped just short of touching the child. She waited. After a moment, the child reached out first. Its small fingers touched Mara's glove, warm, alive. Captain Reyes checked the scanners again. Still no signs of adult life. No bodies nearby, no shelters. This child survived alone. He said quietly. The team searched the area. They found scraps of food containers, broken tools, small marks on the ground where the child had slept. Days, maybe weeks, maybe longer. The truth settled heavily on them. The child had been abandoned. Suddenly, warning alarms sounded. Enemy signals appeared on the scanners. Ships were entering the atmosphere. "We need to leave," one soldier said. The child sensed the tension. It grabbed Mara's finger tightly. Its eyes filled with fear again. Mara looked at Captain Reyes. He looked back at the child, then at his team. "We're not leaving it," he said. The order shocked everyone, but no one argued. Captain Reyes knelt beside the child. He slowly removed his helmet, letting the child see his face. "We will protect you," he said softly. The child stared at him, then leaned closer, as if it understood something important. Above them, enemy ships moved closer, weapons powered up. The humans formed a circle around the child, standing between it and the danger. Under a broken starship, on a dead planet, humanity made a choice that would change the galaxy, and the child was no longer alone. The enemy ships circled above the broken starship. Their shadows moved across the ash like dark clouds. Captain Reyes signaled his team to move. They formed a tight shield around the small alien child. Weapons pointed outward, bodies turned inward. The child stood in the center, holding the broken power crystal close to its chest. Its hands trembled, but it did not cry. Lieutenant Mara spoke softly, her voice steady, even as alarms echoed in her helmet. "It's okay," she said. "We are here." The child looked up at her face. It studied her eyes, as if trying to understand why these strangers had not run away. Command crackled through the channel, urgent and sharp. "Team 7, abort mission immediately. Enemy presence confirmed. Leave all non-mission assets behind." Mara closed her eyes for a moment. She knew what those words meant, Captain. Reyes did not answer right away. He looked at the child, so small, so thin, so clearly alone. "Repeat," Command said. "Leave the area now." The ground shook as enemy troops landed nearby. Heavy boots hit the surface. Metal weapons clicked into place. The child heard the sound. Fear rushed back into its eyes. It grabbed Mara's finger again, tighter this time. Mara felt the grip, small, desperate. She looked at Captain Reyes. He met her gaze. No words were needed. "We take the child," Reyes said into the channel. His voice calm but firm. There was silence, then disbelief. "That is not an option," Command replied. Reyes did not argue. He simply turned off the channel. "Move," he ordered his team. The soldiers moved fast. They advanced through smoke and falling debris, covering every angle, never breaking the circle around the child. Blaster fire erupted. Energy bolts cut through the air. The humans returned fire with precision. The child flinched at every loud sound, but it did not run. It stayed close to Mara as they moved. The child began to react to human voices. When Mara spoke, the child calmed slightly. When Reyes shouted commands, the child watched him closely. One enemy soldier broke through the smoke, raising a weapon toward the child before the weapon could fire. A human soldier stepped in front, taking the blast to the armor. The child gasped, its eyes widened. It had never seen anyone stand in front of danger for it. They reached the extraction zone. The human dropship hovered above the ground, its ramp lowering fast. More enemy forces poured in from all sides. The situation was closing fast. Reyes lifted the child gently. The child stiffened at first, then relaxed, trusting him without knowing why. Inside the dropship, the team secured positions, weapons still firing, shields holding. As the ramp closed, the child made a soft sound, not a word, not a cry, something. In between, Mara looked down. The child was copying her tone. Learning, the dropship lifted off, leaving the dead planet behind. Inside the ship, the noise faded. Only the hum of engines remained. The child looked around. At the lights, the walls, the humans. It reached out and touched Mara's sleeve, then pointed to itself, and made a small sound again. Mara smiled, tears forming in her eyes. "You're trying to speak," she whispered. The child nodded slightly, or maybe it was just copying her movement. Captain Reyes watched from across the cabin. He knew the choice they had made would have consequences for them, for humanity, for the galaxy. But as he saw the child sit quietly among them, safe for the first time, he knew one thing was already clear. This was no longer a rescue mission. This was a promise. Asterisk. The human ship moved quietly through open space. Stars passed slowly outside the windows. Inside, the mood was tense but calm. The alien child sat on a medical bed, wrapped in a clean thermal blanket. Its eyes moved everywhere, watching lights, screens, faces. Human doctors worked carefully. They spoke in soft voices. They did not rush. They did not show fear. Scans filled the air with gentle sounds. Lines of data moved across the screens. "This child is underdeveloped," one doctor said quietly. "Malnutrition, stress damage, long isolation." Captain Reyes stood nearby. His hands were tight at his sides. "How did it survive alone?" he asked. The doctor shook her head. "Instinct and something else." The child suddenly reacted. Its body stiffened. The lights above flickered. Energy spiked across the room. Not violent, controlled. The doctor stepped back, not afraid, just careful. "It's responding to safety," the doctor said. "When it feels protected, its systems stabilize." Mara knelt beside the bed. She held out her hands slowly. The child looked at her fingers, then touched them. The energy settled at once. Reyes exhaled slowly. Later, in the briefing room, the team reviewed recovered data from the broken starship. The truth was worse than they expected. The child species ranked life by usefulness. Weak bodies were removed early. Emotional bonds were considered wasteful. Children who did not develop fast enough were abandoned, left behind during evacuations, erased from records. This is normal to them. One soldier said quietly, "They don't see it as cruelty." Reyes clenched his jaw. "Then they are wrong." A warning signal flashed across the main display. An incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. The screen lit up with alien figures. Cold eyes, perfect posture. They spoke without emotion. "You have taken a defective unit," the lead alien said. "That child does not meet survival standards. Return it." The child, sitting beside Mara, felt the change in the room. Its body leaned closer to her. Mara did not look at the screen. She wrapped an arm around the child gently. Captain Reyes stepped forward. "It is not a unit," he said. "It is a child." The council members exchanged looks. "You interfere with natural selection." One said, "You will weaken the galaxy," Reyes responded calmly. "You abandoned it." "We did not." The transmission ended abruptly. Silence followed. Hours later, the child explored the ship. Carefully, curiously. It touched walls, watched crew members, listened to voices. It tried to copy sounds again. Soft, broken attempts. One word came clearer than the rest. "Ma." Mara froze. Her chest tightened. She knelt. Looking into the child's eyes, the child pointed at her, then at itself. "Ma," it repeated. Tears filled Mara's eyes. She did not correct the child. She simply nodded. From that moment, the crew treated the child differently. Not as cargo, not as a mission risk, but as family elsewhere in the galaxy. Alien leaders watched recorded footage. Human soldiers shielding the child. Human doctors healing it. Fear spread among them. Because the child was changing, growing stronger. Faster, more stable, not because it was forced, but because it was cared for. And the galaxy was about to learn a dangerous truth. Humans did not make the weak weaker, they made them rise. The human medical ship drifted in safe space, far from war zones, far from enemy scanners inside. The alien child walked slowly across the floor, bare feet touching clean metal for the first time. It looked around with wide eyes. Every sound was new. Every light was gentle. Doctors watched from a distance. They did not rush. They let the child move at its own pace. Mara stayed close, not holding, not guiding, just present. When the child stumbled, it did not panic. It reached out, and a human hand was there. That simple moment changed something inside the child. Medical scans continued daily. The results surprised everyone. The child's body was responding quickly, muscle strength increasing, neural activity stabilizing, emotional stress levels dropping. "This should not be possible," one doctor said softly. "Not after what it survived." "But it is happening," another replied. The child began to eat real food. Warm food, fresh food. At first, it hesitated, as if expecting the meal to be taken away. But when nothing bad happened, it ate slowly, then faster for the first time. The child smiled. It was small, uncertain, but real. The crew noticed changes quickly. The child followed voices now, turned when its name was spoken. They gave it a name, a simple one, easy to say. "Luma," Mara whispered. The child touched its chest. "Lu." "Ma," it repeated. Luma laughed after that, a soft sound, untrained, but full of life. Captain Reyes watched from the doorway. He had led battles, lost friends, made impossible choices. But this moment felt heavier than all of them. Reports began to spread across the galaxy. Humans had taken in an abandoned alien child. Humans were protecting it, healing it. Some species watched with curiosity, others with fear. On distant worlds, alien leaders argued. "They are changing it," one said. "They are weakening survival standards." But data showed the opposite. Luma was growing stronger, not aggressive, not violent, stronger in balance, in focus and trust. Back on the ship, Luma explored more each day. It followed engineers, sat beside pilots, listened to stories it could not yet understand. When loud noises echoed through the ship, Luma flinched, then relaxed when a human knelt beside it. No punishment, no abandonment, just comfort. Mara taught Luma simple things, pointing to objects, repeating words, light, hand, safe. Safe became Luma's favorite. At night, Luma slept in a small room, with a soft glow instead of darkness. For the first time, it did not sleep curled in fear. It slept openly, Peacefully, during one medical check, the child's energy signature surged again, but this time it was controlled. The doctors stared at the readings. "This ability," one said. "It was never defective," Reyes nodded. "It was never given a chance." A transmission arrived from the Galactic Council, demanding observation rights, claiming concern. Humans allowed monitoring, but not control. They had drawn a line. Luma stood beside Mara as the screen lit up, alien faces cold and distant. Luma did not hide, did not shake. It held Mara's hand, standing tall, across the galaxy. Many species felt something unfamiliar doubt, because the humans were proving something dangerous. That care could be stronger than cruelty, that kindness could unlock power, that survival was not about leaving the weak behind. And Luma, once abandoned under a broken starship, was becoming living proof of the human way. The message from the Galactic Council arrived without warning. It filled every screen on the human ship. Cold symbols, formal language, no emotion. Captain Reyes stood at the center of the bridge. Mara beside him, Luma holding her hand. The council spoke as one voice. "The child you have taken belongs to us. It is property of its species. You have interfered long enough." The words were sharp, final. Luma did not understand the language, but it felt the change. The tension in the room, the sudden stillness. It tightened its grip on Mara's hand. Mara knelt slowly. She spoke softly. Even though the council could hear her, "You are safe," she said. "No one will take you." The lead council member leaned forward, its eyes narrow. "The child is defective," it said. "It survived by mistake. Returning it will restore balance." A murmur moved through the human crew, anger, disbelief. Captain Reyes stepped closer to the screen, his voice calm but firm. "You abandoned it," he said. "We found it starving under wreckage. You left it to die." The council replied without pause. "Survival requires sacrifice." Reyes did not raise his voice. "That is not survival," he said. "That is fear." Data streams appeared on the screen, human medical reports, growth charts, energy stability readings, Luma's progress. Clear and undeniable, one council member reacted. "That growth is artificial." A human doctor stepped forward. "No," she said. "It is natural." It only needed care. Silence followed. The council had not expected this. They had expected weakness, dependency. Instead, they saw strength. Luma took a small step forward. Still holding Mara's hand, it looked at the tall figures on the screen, its eyes steady, unafraid. Luma lifted its free hand, placed it on its chest, then pointed toward the humans. "Safe," it said, the word still imperfect, but clear. The bridge fell silent. That single word echoed across the transmission. Recorded, saved. The council members exchanged looks. This was not supposed to happen. One of them spoke again. "You are teaching it emotions," Mara answered. "Yes, and that makes it dangerous," the council replied. Reyes shook his head. "No," he said. "That makes it alive." Outside the ship, other vessels gathered, some watching, some waiting. Across the galaxy, footage spread. The abandoned child, now standing strong beside humans. Many species watched quietly. Remembering their own lost young, the council issued a final warning. Return the child, or face consequences. Captain Reyes looked down at Luma, then back at the screen. "We will not return a child to cruelty," he said. "If you want it, you will have to change first." The transmission ended. Alarms did not sound. Weapons did not fire. But something far more dangerous had begun. A shift on the ship. The crew gathered around Luma. No longer hiding their bond, Luma looked at their faces, then smiled, confident. For the first time, it was not afraid of the galaxy. And far away, in council chambers and command centers, alien leaders felt something unsettling. Because humanity had just refused to obey, not for power, not for territory, but for one small child. And the galaxy was beginning to understand. Humans would not let the innocent stand alone. The council chambers across the galaxy were filled With noise, voices argued, screens flashed. Data flowed faster than ever before. The humans had refused, not with weapons, not with threats, but with something far more dangerous. Conviction. On the human ship, the atmosphere was calm, too calm. As if everyone understood that nothing would ever be the same again. Luma stood near the main window, watching stars move slowly past, its reflection faint in the glass. Mara stood beside the child, her hand resting lightly on Luma's shoulder. Not holding just there, Captain Reyes entered the bridge, his expression serious but steady. "They're still debating," he said. "No attack orders." Luma turned to him, its head tilted slightly. "Safe?" Luma asked softly. Reyes knelt, meeting Luma's eyes. "Yes," he said. "You are safe." That word carried weight now across the galaxy. Something unexpected was happening. Other species began to speak, quiet at first, then louder. Footage of Luma spread everywhere, the child under the wreckage. The humans forming a shield, the healing, the growth. Questions followed. Why did humans protect the weak? Why did their care create strength? Why did abandoned children thrive with them on one distant world? A young alien parent watched the footage, their child sitting beside them, small, slow to develop for the first time. They did not feel shame. Back in the council, a vote was forced, not by humans, but by the pressure of truth. One by one, representatives spoke. "We abandoned too many. We mistook fear for survival. We lost something important." The final decision appeared across every screen. A new galactic law: no child would be abandoned for weakness. No life would be erased for failing standards. Care would no longer be forbidden. On the human ship, the message arrived quietly. Mara covered her mouth, her eyes filled with tears. Reyes let out a long breath he did not realize he had been holding. Luma watched them, confused by their reaction. "Good," Mara whispered. "It means good." Luma smiled, a wide smile now, confident, unafraid. Days passed, then weeks. The galaxy changed in small ways first. Rescue missions expanded, abandonment zones were searched, lost children were found. And wherever humans went, they did not arrive as conquerors. They arrived as guardians. Luma continued to grow, not rushed, not forced. Learning, laughing, becoming. The child's abilities stabilized completely, stronger than predicted, balanced. Doctors recorded the results carefully. One truth clear in every report: the power was always there. Love unlocked it. On a quiet day, the human ship arrived at Earth. Orbit, blue and bright below. Luma pressed its hands against the glass, eyes wide with wonder. "Home," Mara said softly. "If you want it." Luma looked back at her, then at Reyes, then at the crew who had become family. "Yes," Luma said, the word clear now. The ship descended slowly, carrying not just a child, but a message. That strength did not come from leaving others behind. That survival was not cruelty. That humanity's greatest power was choice. Long after the story spread, long after laws were rewritten, the galaxy would remember this moment. Not the war, not the politics. Asterisk.